Hello, and welcome to ONTV News. I'm Marissa.
And I'm Kayla Brandon. In 2013, the Oxford Orion Fish Food Pantry celebrated 40 years of service to the community. The nonprofit organization depends entirely on volunteers and donations from the community to provide to area families in need. Local schools hold a food drive around the holidays, and the Lake Orion postal carriers hold the Stamp Out Hunger food drive in May. Noticing a need for donations during the first several months of the year, ONTV began hosting a food drive of its own. Now in its fourth year, the 5 or 5 food drive took place on Saturday, February 8th. The ONTV studio was bustling with activity during the 5 or 5 food drive, which was broadcast live on local cable TV from 10 a.m. to 4 p.m. Throughout the event, members of the community stopped by to drop off 5 food items or $5, which would earn them a ticket for any one of a number of raffle prizes donated by area businesses. Visitors were also encouraged to head on over to the Orion Center to enjoy music and magic provided by a wide variety of entertainers. The food collection process actually started weeks before the event. Numerous businesses and organizations set up collection boxes, asking patrons to fill up the boxes with donated goods. Locations included Broadway Dance Company, Skelnick Ford, Grondin's Hair Centers, and the Orion Township Library, among others.
I think they're a wonderful organization and that they have been here and supporting the community through everything that it may need. My history from college is psychology. I was a social worker prior to being a dance instructor, and so first-handedly being inside homes of families that are always in need, not only through the holidays, but throughout the whole year, is very close to my heart. And so I want the kids here who are given so many opportunities to realize that the community in itself needs places that will collect the cans and give that back to the community.
As donations arrived at the ONTV studio, volunteers from Houghton Elementary in Waterford helped repackage the food into milk crates, which made it easier to transport the items to the fish pantry located in Oxford. At the end of the day, it was estimated that more than 5,000 pounds of food was raised, including over $800 in cash.
A very gracious thank you to the entire community. We are supported by no group, church, or whatever, strictly the community. And we have, praise God, been very fortunate in having our needs met strictly through the community, which is good to us.
If you missed ONTV's 5 or 5 food drive, it's not too late to make a difference. There are several year-round drop-off locations, including the Lake Orion Post Office, Hollywood Market, and St. Joseph's Catholic Church. Of course, you can always drop off donations at the Fish Food Pantry, which is located at 487 First Street in Oxford Township. For office hours, or even if you have any other questions, visit their website, oxfordorionfish.org, or give them a call at 248-628-3933.
ONTV shares the Orion Center with Orion Township's Community Programs Department, which includes Parks and Recreation and Senior Services. Various agencies help fund the Senior Services Division, but did you know there's an organization that offers supplemental support? The Friends of the Orion Center Seniors hosted a luncheon on Wednesday, February 12th in the center's main banquet room. More than 50 people attended, including township officials. There was food, music, and a raffle, but the main goal was to educate visitors about the goals of the organization and to recruit new members.
What we need is ideas, we need energy, and we need donations, and people to work, and we can spread our community. So we do have a senior community here, people that are 55 years plus, and we range in the age from 55 to 100 plus. And it's important that we stay active mentally, physically, and socially to continue on with a well-balanced lifestyle.
The Friends Group has been in existence for more than 8 years, supporting the Senior Center when it was located at the Church Street location. Since moving to the Orion Center, the group has hosted numerous luncheons and purchased 2 HD televisions for the lower level. If you'd like to get involved with the Friends of the Orion Center Seniors, their next meeting is scheduled for Wednesday, March 19th at 10 a.m. at the Orion Center. If you have any questions, feel free to contact Friends President Ed Peters at 248-227-5656. Membership forms and an informational brochure are available in the lobby of the Orion Center.
If you ever wanted to learn about natural building and sustainable living programs, then the STRAWBALE Studio is just the place to start. They offer many educational workshops, including candle and incense making. Here's Sue Lovelace with the story.
I'm Sue Lovelace here at the STRAWBALE Studio, main house in Oxford, during a candle and incense making class. Deanne, director of the STRAWBALE Studio, is teaching the benefits of making candles from beeswax, which has less of an impact on the environment than paraffin wax candles. Beeswax is the oldest candle-making wax and is found in the pyramids. Beeswax is a byproduct of the honey-making process. The wax is infused with honey during its creation and naturally has a sweet fragrance which can vary depending on the flowers the pollen is collected from. Once the honey is harvested from the beehive, it is melted and filtered several times for purchase as blocks, slabs, or pellets, which melt very easily. The wax can also be purchased as rolled sheets, which can be made into candles without melting the wax. Next, we moved into making incense. Deanne suggested that natural products such as leaves, pine needles, or herbs such as rosemary or sage are good alternatives to artificial or synthetic scents.
About the ones that we're making is we're getting the same outcome. We're having a wonderful experience of collecting this and going out and finding pitch or harvesting these materials, and then there's no excess to get rid of.
To make the incense, the natural products need to be dry and can be held together with a glue made of flour and water, or pitch, which comes from pine trees. Once made into little rolls or cones, they need to be dried thoroughly before burning. If you would like further information about STRAWBALE Studio, go to www.strawbalestudio.org or call 248-628-1887. Reporting for ONTV News, I'm Sue Lovelace.
Thanks, Sue. As we reported on our last newscast, Canterbury Village will be undergoing major changes this year with the sale of the Always Christmas store to Woodside Bible Church. Another change involves the loss of the village quilt shop, but its customers don't have to worry. The new location isn't too far away from Canterbury Village. On Friday, February 14th, the Village Quilt Shop celebrated its grand reopening on its 10th anniversary of doing business in Orion Township. The new location is on Baldwin Road in the shopping plaza shared by Oscar's Bar and Grill. The shop is owned by Carolyn Votts, who is also the editor of Quilter's World magazine.
Quilting originally started out as a utility. It was basically an art that people did to make blankets for their family, and it's really changed a lot over the last, I'd say, 30 years. In the 1980s, it kind of changed from making blankets for your beds to actually making fashion statements and home decorating, and then it went into art. There's a huge industry now that revolves around quilting.
Carolyn told us she's confident her loyal customers will have no problem finding the quilt shop in its new location.
We have very loyal customers. Like I said, we've been in business for 10 years, and they come back and they just keep on quilting. It's something that hasn't died. It's not really trendy so much. It's not a fad thing. Usually if somebody gets bit by the quilting bug, they stay at it.
What inspired me to get started is just looking at other people's works. I have a good friend who had gotten started, and so it's been something that we do a lot together.
Many of the quilt shop's customers will be taking part in the 2014 Quilt Celebration organized by the Oakland County Quilt Guild. That event will be taking place on Friday, April 11th and Saturday, April 12th at the First Baptist Church in Lake Orion. For more information, visit oaklandcountyquiltguild.com.
We're going to take a quick break, but when we return, we'll have a special report from Joe Johnson on the State of the County Address. You're watching ONTV News. Stay tuned. Welcome back to ONTV News. I'm Kayla Brandon.
And I'm Marissa Weber. Oakland County Executive L. Brooks Patterson has held office for 22 years. Recently, He hosted his 20th State of the County address, and the outlook was far more positive than it had been just a few years ago. ONTV's Joe Johnson was there and brings us the story.
On Wednesday, February 12th, L. Brooks Patterson entered the room to a standing ovation. Following a promise he made last year, Patterson walked in under his own power, showing significant progress as he continues to recover from a serious car accident suffered in August of 2012. After introducing the elite 40 under 40 class of 2014, which includes Orion Township Supervisor Chris Barnett, Patterson got right down to business, crediting cost-saving initiatives that have saved taxpayers an estimated $840 million during Patterson's reign.
We finished the last fiscal year, 2013, with a $243 million surplus. Now, you take the current delinquent tax revolving fund of $207 million cash, and you add that 243, you see that Oakland County is in pretty good financial shape.
Patterson also had good news for Oakland County homeowners. Following the Great Recession that peaked in 2009, Patterson mentioned economic barometers that indicate Oakland County is moving in the right direction.
My equalization manager, Dave Heber, indicates that foreclosures are about half of what they were in 2012. 2,800 in 2013 compared to 5,100 in 2012. Now, 2,800 is still too many, but the arrow is pointing in the right direction. At the same time, we reduced the number of foreclosures, and property values are starting to trend upward. Dave reports that property values are expected to increase 6% each year for 2014, 15, and 16. Now, that's good news, not just for Oakland County property owners, but for your local governments as well. Dave forecasts that the taxable values will rise 2% in 14, 3% in 15, and 4% in 2016. That means a slow but steady restoration of revenue to local government coffers. But that doesn't mean the local units will be restored to the levels of revenues that they enjoyed back in 2007. We are still 6 to 10 years away from that mark. And our BFC, the Business Finance Corporation, says it's rebounding. In 2013, they closed a record 42 business loans, the highest number in a single year since the BFC began granting loans back in 1981. So that's a good indication. Finally, the esteemed University of Michigan economists George Fulton and Don Grimes determined that in 2011 and 12, Oakland County added about 48,000 jobs to its employment rolls. They conservatively forecast another 41,500 jobs through 2015. And most of these jobs are occurring in the medium to high wage category of our emerging sectors. My assessment tonight of the state of the county, it's pretty good and getting better.
Patterson seemed particularly enthusiastic when describing what could be the next big leap in the field of automotive technology.
Well, tonight I'm delighted to announce another technology first for Oakland County. It's a bold leap into the future of technology and smart cars. If successful, and that's a huge jump, a huge challenge, but I got a lot of good people with me. If successful, I will be placing Oakland County on the global map as the first county in the world to initiate a countywide connected car ecosystem. I've already started assembling an outstanding task force of industry experts whose names and credentials will be released later tonight in the press packet. They will make recommendations on how to deploy a connected car infrastructure in Oakland County and then cooperate with the auto industry, the connected car stakeholders, auto insurance companies, and service providers. Together, they will best utilize this new technology for improved vehicle safety and enhanced efficiency of the roadway system. This initiative demonstrates our bold thinking, and the potential for job growth is staggering. In basic terms, a connected car will be able to transmit data about the vehicle and the location to other cars and to the road infrastructure. These transmissions, known as heartbeats, will be able to send the location data that will dramatically reduce auto accidents as well as assisting emergency responders during an accident or a crisis. The time is now for industry experts to deploy a connected car, and we think we can make that case that it should be done right here in Oakland County.
And finally, Patterson reassured those in attendance that Oakland County's AAA bond rating remained unaffected despite the city of Detroit filing for bankruptcy.
This fall, Moody's Investor Services and Standard & Poor's announced that Oakland County would retain the AAA bond rating that we've held since 1998. the highest credit score, that AAA, enables us to borrow money for infrastructure or finance other projects at the lowest interest rates available. We were concerned this time around, to be honest. Several years ago, a bond rating analyst told me that if Detroit went into bankruptcy, we might be at risk of losing our AAA. Well, Detroit did slide into bankruptcy, Chapter 9, but the strength of our budgeting practices, highlighted by our 3-year rolling budget and strong business practices, once again, we earned the AAA rating. In fact, one of the bond rating analysts said that if they could color code the rating, they would give us platinum. That's right. How effective and ingrained is our budgeting practices here in Oakland County? Well, they're part of our county government culture now. It is in our DNA. Our managers have become so astute at finding structural savings that we got a nice surprise at the end of the fiscal year. Last year, we planned to spend down $40 million of our fund surplus. It was growing and growing. We were obligated to spend it down. Instead, we generated a surprise. The staff gave us an additional surplus. Our department's underspent by about 10%. So I'm proud to announce here tonight that our budget is balanced through 2018.
Of course, the county executive touched on many more topics during his hour-long presentation. We're hoping to get a DVD copy of the State of the County address so that we can show it to you in its entirety right here on ONTV. In Pontiac, this is Joe Johnson reporting for ONTV News.
Thanks, Joe. The story of Michael and Gina Spain is one of loss, despair, hope, and renewal, but most of all, love. I got the chance to sit down with the Rochester couple and hear their incredible story.
He's all right.
Looking at Michael and Gina Spain, you wouldn't have guessed they found love in the midst of undoubtedly the darkest hour of their lives. It was Christmas Day in 2005 when Gina's husband Matt lost his 3-year battle with a rare form of cancer. Just 2 months later, Matt's childhood friend Kathy would suddenly pass away from brain cancer. Before she died, Kathy told her husband, Michael, to reach out to Gina since she was also grieving the loss of her spouse and best friend. What happened next, the Spains believe can only be explained as divine intervention. Through comforting phone calls, family outings, and a shared sense of faith, God turned their mourning into dancing. Michael and Gina found love in the shadows of despair and married almost 2 years later.
We realized that before the two of us ever met, our lives had intersected more often than we could imagine. And our late spouses were close friends growing up. They grew up in the same local grammar school and high school here. They even went to Michigan State at the same time. And beyond that, their individual faiths and how that their faith was manifest and expressed while they still lived, really shaped the life that we would eventually be blessed to live. So all of that, all of a sudden it was this aha moment for us that maybe this story is one we should be sharing.
The memoir of their lives, originally meant for their children, soon got picked up by a publisher. And it wasn't long before it became a New York Times bestseller. Little did they know what was in store for them. After an appearance on the Today Show in 2011, a producer from Hallmark Movies contacted them and wanted their story to be shared with Hallmark viewers across the country.
I think if we had tried to force the direction of all this, it would never have worked. I just think that because, you know, this was what God intended for this story, it's being used to bless people. It is very personal to us and it's very real and it happened. And so sometimes you have to separate yourself from that. You know, people say, how do you watch those videos of your husband over and over again? Or how do you, because I know the good that comes from doing it, and that's why.
The movie, The Color of Rain, debuts May 31st on the Hallmark Channel. Michiganders can get a sneak peek of the movie at the Imagine Theater in Royal Oak on May 15th. The red carpet premiere party is set to help raise funds for the New Day Foundation. But the Spains hope the film does more than just share their incredible story. They wish to give hope to those currently dealing with the loss of a loved one, just like their nonprofit does. The couple created the New Day Foundation in 2007 to help families affected by cancer, with children under the age of 18, through financial and emotional support.
We saw an incredible need, and Michael and I had been incredibly blessed during that time when we had our, dealing with our losses and our spouses being ill. And we had such an incredible support system. We wanted to provide that for people who didn't have it.
More than 150 families have benefited from the generous efforts of Michael, Gina, and their team. The Spain family proves that the loss of a loved one can be devastating. But if you keep your heart open, you could find love in the midst of tragedy.
You never, ever get over it. You carry that loved one with you. There's a hole in your heart for them. But hopefully you grow some new hearts for new people and new experiences and what your new life will be.
Lake Orion Community Schools have yet to reach their petitioned school board improvement vote for the 2014 school year. Many schools in the district have been experiencing leaky roofs, security issues, and technological problems in many of their network servers and telephone lines. The Lake Orion School District for the next school year will now be in the negative by $2.5 million due to the district having to spend $8.5 million from their general fund. The district will also use the sale of many of their energy bonds to raise money for the new upgrades, because that method doesn't have to be voted on through the public. The reoccurring improvements have been on delay due to not earning the votes for the past two bonds that were projected in the last 2 years. The now $8.5 million in general funds will be broken up into 3 sections. Building improvements will cost the district $4.5 million, technological improvements that consist of server, network, and telephone upgrades will cost $2.8 million, along with many advances in the security system costing $735,000. 10 Lake Orion schools will have major roof renewals, along with new lighting and HVAC systems. The Cirque building will also undergo renovations to help benefit the Early Childhood Education Center. Technological updates will come in the form of new laptop, computers, and desktops to help make the new networks and servers easily accessible during the school day. The phone and projector systems will also see a new upgrade for the fall 2014 year. Strict entranceways will also be in the improvement plan, detailing the safety factor for every school in the Lake Orion district. The entranceways will now be equipped with a key card slider for all employees, as well as a buzzer system for parents who need to get to their children during the day. Security cameras will also be in place in all the administrative offices in the district. Lake Orion has also raised funding for the district by encompassing a school of choice access to any student who would like to be educated in the Lake Orion district. Elementary schools in the district saw a rising 54 students enrolled in many elementary schools in the district. The current school of choice access will help steady the income to the district by the parents of 54 students paying tuition to attend a Lake Orion school. The improvements are scheduled for the summer of 2014 and will be completed by the start of the new school year. The future improvements will help benefit the students, teachers, and parents of many Lake Orion schools. We are going to take a quick break. When we return, we'll look at local sports. You're watching ONTV News. Please stay tuned. Welcome back to ONTV News. I'm Marissa Weber.
And I'm Kayla Brandon. We now turn our attention to local sports. Welcome to our weekly sports roundup. On Thursday, February 14th, the Dragons welcomed the Stony Creek Cougars into DCS for their annual OAA Red Showcase. With only 3 games left in the regular season, Lake Orion is gearing up for a long run in the state finals, but first they need to get past Stony Creek, who came into the night with a 3-game winning streak. Unlike the Cougars, the Dragons have been struggling as of late, not winning since January 16th and going 0-3-3 over their last 6 games. It looked like more of the same for the Dragons. The Cougars got on the board early with a beautiful backhand from Cam Sherritt. However, the Dragons rebounded quickly with Jake Shoppe scoring off a rebound from Jordan Strauss.
Backdoor pass by the captain.
The Dragons would strike again quickly. This time it was Ryan Sidlowski scoring on a shot from the blue line. The Dragons went into the first intermission up by 2. The second period was quiet, but Lake Orion managed to put another puck past the goalie with 3 minutes 33 seconds left on the clock. Corey Stockwell passed the puck to the front of the net where Josh Gould was waiting to one-time it in. The Dragons went into the second intermission with a 2-goal lead. Lake Orion would strike first in the third on a slap shot from Ryan Sidlowski, his second goal of the night. Lake Orion 4, Stony Creek 1. The Cougars would make a bid to come back. Nolan Arbor would put one past Logan Aldrich midway through the third, but it wasn't enough. Lake Orion would score again just 15 seconds left in the game. Lake Orion goes on to win 5-2. The Dragons improve to 15-5-3, while the Cougars fall to 12-7-1. Lake Orion has 2 more games before they begin the state finals.
While all the credit for the LOHS hockey season so far should go to the players on the ice and the coaches behind the bench, it doesn't hurt having newly renovated facilities to call home. The Dragons varsity hockey program has been around since 2001. They currently play their home games at the Detroit Skating Club in Bloomfield. According to head coach Nick Field, the original locker room was built about 6 or 7 years ago. The team began discussions earlier this year to explore a locker room renovation, but had no plans to complete the project anytime soon.
It initially started with just a simple idea, and we bounced it off a few of the parents on the team and the players, and we got some initial feedback, and to be honest with you, I wasn't really expecting a whole lot, and there wasn't any expectations whatsoever. Like I said, it was just a thought. But long story short, there was some conversations and some talk, and that evolved into a quote on what we thought it might cost to even do something like this. And to be honest, the initial quote came back, and it was quite a bit out of price range than what we were thinking. And I thought the idea was dead. However, I did contact a company who actually redid Clarkson's locker room, which is 2 doors down from us, a few years back, and the quote came back from him, which I was pleasantly surprised with. And then from there, it was another meeting or two, and we voted to give it a whirl and see if we could fund the money and take it from there.
With the plans approved, the players and families begun an extensive fundraising effort last summer.
It was amazing the support that we had. First of all, the kids and their parents that are part of the program here went above and beyond anything that we were really expecting. I mean, it started off as an idea, and we thought it'd be tough, and that speaks volumes to the character of the quality of people that we have within this program. And the kids did a great job as far as going around town and getting sponsors, and the parents did a great job of using their contacts as well. And just to name a few, I think that we had so many donations, it wouldn't be fair to everybody if I named a couple, because to be honest, there was many companies that showed their charity to us and to help to get the project done and to support the team.
Coach Field is in his 3rd year as the Dragons head coach. With help from his staff, management, and the team's parents, he's built an extremely competitive program which made an appearance in the MHSAA Division I state semifinals in 2011. To learn more about the locker room renovations or for more general information on the team, visit their website at lakeorionhockey.com.
That's it for this edition of ONTV News. On behalf of the entire crew, I'm Kayla Brandon.
And I'm Marissa Weber. Thank you for watching.